On the eve of All Souls' Day, I found myself in a state of profound desolation. My wife Sarah had left me just days before, and the pain of her abandonment was a gaping wound in my heart. As the world prepared to honor the departed, I was left to wander through the labyrinth of my emotions, seeking solace in a world now bereft of the love I once held dear. Sarah and I had always shared a special bond, and our love had been the bedrock of my existence. But she had left, taking with her the warmth and light of our home. The night was exceptionally dark and filled with sorrow, mirroring my own inner turmoil. I decided to visit the cemetery, not out of a sense of tradition, but as an attempt to confront the overwhelming grief that weighed me down. The moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the tombstone. I wandered through the silent graveyard, lost in the memories of happier times. As I stood before the graves, lamenting the loss of my marriage, I heard a faint whisper on the wind. It was a voice unmistakably Sarah's, calling my name. My heart leaped in my chest, and I turned in the direction of the voice. But there was no one there. I told myself it was just a product of my anguish, a spectral echo of the love I had lost. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The tombstones seemed to crowd in around me, casting long, distorted shadows in the moonlight. I had to know if Sarah was there, if there was any chance of reconciliation. I followed the ethereal voice, moving deeper into the cemetery. As I ventured further into the darkness, I stumbled upon a scene that shook me to my core. Sarah was there, but she was not alone. She stood beside another man, a figure I had never seen before. They were locked in a passionate embrace, her laughter a twisted mockery of the joy we had once shared. My heart shattered as I realized that Sarah had not only left me, but had found solace in the arms of another man. The despair I felt was all-encompassing, and in my anguish I cried out to the night. At that moment the winds howled, and the tombstones seemed to reach out with gnarled fingers, pulling me into their macabre dance. I fell to the ground, surrounded by the specters of the past, my love, and my heartbreak. It was as if the graveyard itself was condemning me for my sorrow, for daring to seek solace in the world of the living. I knew then that I had become a prisoner of my own despair, lost in the eternal night of All Souls' Day. As the first light of dawn broke, I found myself alone in the cemetery, a broken man. The whisper of Sarah's voice had faded, leaving me with the cold, harsh reality of my abandonment. All Souls' Day had become a living nightmare, a reminder of the love I had lost and the ghosts that would forever haunt my heart. As the chilling winds of November swept through the cemetery, I found myself standing alone at my beloved mother's gravesite on All Souls' Day. The sky was a heavy blanket of gray, and the leafless trees cast eerie shadows that seemed to dance in the fading light. I had always felt a sense of unease when visiting this place, but tonight that unease took a darker turn. The graveyard was silent, save for the distant howling of a solitary dog and the crunching of leaves beneath my feet. My mother's tombstone was adorned with fading flowers, a reminder of the love I still held for her, even in death. As I stood there lost in my memories, a low, mournful wind began to whisper through the tombstones, carrying with it a voice that seemed to call my name. Startled, I looked around, but the cemetery appeared empty, save for the silent, moss-covered graves. I told myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, a byproduct of the day and the gloomy atmosphere. With a trembling hand, I reached into my pocket to retrieve a small bouquet of fresh flowers to place on my mother's grave. As I knelt down, a sudden icy chill ran down my spine. The ground beneath my fingers felt unusually cold, as if it were not soil, but something much more sinister. Curiosity and fear wrestled within me as I dug my fingers into the earth. Slowly, the ground gave way to reveal a hidden, ancient-looking box. With trembling hands, I carefully unearthed it. The box was ornate. covered in intricate carvings and adorned with symbols I couldn't identify. Compelled by a strange force, I opened the box, revealing a stack of old faded photographs and a handwritten journal. As I paged through the journal, I began to unravel a haunting tale of a forbidden love, betrayal, and a dark pact made with a vengeful spirit who reigned the cemetery on All Souls' Day. The more I read, the more I felt an unseen presence drawing nearer. The whispered voices in the wind grew louder, and the shadows around me deepened. It was as though the spirits of the departed had been awakened, and they were not pleased with my intrusion. In the distance, I saw a faint, ethereal figure dressed in white. It moved slowly toward me, and my heart pounded in my chest. The figure seemed to be the embodiment of the betrayed lover from the journal, seeking vengeance for the wrongs committed against them. Terrified, I hastily closed the journal and returned it to the box. I reburied the box in the cold earth, hoping to appease the restless spirits that now encircled me. The figure in white drew closer, and I could feel its presence growing stronger. I whispered a desperate apology to my mother and fled the cemetery, leaving the secrets and curses of All Souls' Day behind. To this day, I can never forget the chilling encounter at my mother's grave, and I wonder if the dark pact and vengeful spirits still linger on that desolate cemetery, waiting for the next unwitting visitor on All Souls' Day.